What is going on, Internet world? My name is Tom, and you probably know me as Rivet, and I'm your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, the highest flying, flyest looking team on YouTube. We're here today with our Week 3 battle of the OMDL SKETCHMONS against Zoog and the San Diego Growlithes. This is going to be a great match. Welcome to the workshop. Alrighty guys, we are here breaking down our Week 3 matchup for the OMDL SKETCHMONS against the San Diego Growlithes and Coach Zoog. He's got a really scary team, but I think we have a pretty solid squad to take him on this week. His first mon is Mega Lopunny, an incredibly potent offensive threat, a normal and fighting type with the scrappy ability. He's got great dual stab and stuff like Facade and close combat, gets excellent coverage moves in triple axle, fire punch, it can U-turn around, it can fake out and quick attack for priority, and it gets a couple other things. His sketch move is Swords Dance, which can turn it into incredibly scary cleaner and wall breaker. So moves like close combat, fire punch, triple axle are going to hit incredibly hard coming off that. In this match, Mega Lopunny kind of messes me up. Probably expecting either a Swords Dance through attack set or just a pivoting set with U-turn. Probably with close combat, fire punch, triple axle, and then either Swords Dance or U-turn, as those moves hit my big defensive pieces in Mega Scizor and Gliscor. I could also see, maybe just like Facade or something of the sort to try to hit Toxic Pexes. Otherwise, Pex would wall that set pretty good, but he can U-turn out on that and get into one of his bigger mons as well. So Mega Lopunny is definitely a huge hassle this match. I got to try to take care of it the best I can. Next up is Heatran, a very bulky fire and steel type with the flash fire ability. Fantastic bulk at 106 in both defenses and very strong with 130 special attack. Magma Storms and Flamethrowers hit very, very hard. Gets other good coverage moves in Earth Power, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse. It's a great Stealth Rock setter. It can roar to phase out. And his sketch move is Recover, giving him incredible longevity, turning Heatran into a very reliable defensive piece. So Heatran I could see coming this match. It can take on a couple of my mons, but it doesn't do a whole lot against some of my other things, and it doesn't switch in super duper well. It doesn't want to take voltages from Coco or Bone Meringues from Scizor, Earth Powers from Hydreigon, anything of the sort. So I could see it coming, but I think he does have a couple other mons that might be a little better this week. Next up is Tapu Bulu, incredibly good grass and fairy type with the Grassy Surge ability. Wood Hammers and Horde Leeches hit incredibly hard. It gets other good moves such as Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, High Horsepower. It can Swords Dance and bulk up to set up. It can set Leech Seeds, it can Synthesis. And his sketched move is Grassy Glide, making it kind of just a better Rillaboom in my opinion. Very scary. Base 130 attack, especially after a Swords Dance. You can just smash through teams. I have a pretty reliable answer to it in Mega Scizor, but I have to keep that thing incredibly healthy so that I don't lose to Bulu in the late game. Next up is Zapdos, a very bulky electric and flying type with the pressure and static abilities. Very bulky and very offensive with 125 special attack. Pretty fast at 100 feet as well. Thunderbolt and Discharges hit pretty hard. It can run Hurricane and Heat Wave as well. It can defog hazards away, roost for longevity, and pivot with U-turn and Volt Switch. Definitely expecting just a physically defensive Zapdos this week. It's his best switch into Scizor. I can't do a whole lot against it. He can pressure me pretty hard with Heat Wave. He can just pivot out. He can remove any hazards. Bone Meringues won't be doing anything, obviously, and he has a big chance to paralyze me with Static on a U-turn or something of the sort, which would be not very good at all. His sketch move is Calm Mind, giving him a very scary setup option. I do think that, a more defensive set is probably coming this match, but he could be, a physically defensive Calm Mind set as well, which could be incredibly scary. Next up is Gengar, an incredibly scary Ghost and Poison type with the Cursed Body ability. It's a fantastic wall breaker with great dual stab and Shadow Ball and Sludge Wave. It gets excellent coverage moves in Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Focus Mist, and his sketch move is Flamethrower, giving him a very good option to hit Mega Scizor, which is very scary. It can run Choice Specs and Choice Scarf sets incredibly well. It can Nasty Plot up with something like Life Orb, or it can run Black Sludge sets with Substitute as well, which is very scary. Gengar needs a bunch of different moves to hit my team this week. I think he needs Focus Blast, Flamethrower, Dazzling Gleam, and then Dual Stab. So I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be running. It's definitely coming. It's definitely going to be a hassle. And I have a couple kind of okay switch-ins to it. Toxic Specs can handle it pretty okay. Even if he's got Psychic, it won't do a whole lot unless he's like Choice Specs or Reset +2. Next up is Slowbro, a very bulky and defensive water and psychic type with the Regenerator ability. It's a fantastic pivot with Teleport and Regenerator. Scalds hit pretty hard. It can toss off big future sites, which is pretty spooky. I can run other good moves such as Fire Blast. I can slack off for non-passive recovery. Slowbro could be coming this match. Again, doesn't want to take on something like Coco. Doesn't take on Mega Scizor very well. Hydreigon kind of runs all over it. But it could come just to pressure some stuff like Toxapex and Gliscor. So if it comes, probably does a physically defensive pivot. It can try to take on some U-turns from Mega Scizor and just teleport out and do some other stuff. But I think he's got better answers to Mega Sciz. Next up is Mudsdale, a pretty bulky ground type with the Stamina ability. This is one of his better switch-ins to Tapu Koko just because it is immune to Rising Voltage. However, Grass Knot would do a lot, so probably expecting Bulu as a Koko answer instead, but I could still see it. It's pretty reliable stealth rocker. Earthquakes, close combats, and heavy slams all hit pretty hard, as it is pretty heavy. So could see Mudsdale. Next up is Alolan Persian, a fast dark type at 115 speed with the fur coat and technician abilities. It's got a pretty decent move pool with stuff like knockoff and gunk shot. He has spikes on here as well, making it a pretty good fast spiking option. It does also learn Nasty Plot with a couple other good moves like Dark Pulse and Burning Jealousy. So could see Persian just as a spikes lead. My team doesn't super love hazards, and I don't have fantastic removal, but I think he's got a couple other better monster full of slots this week. Next up is Audino, a very bulky normal type with the Regenerator ability again. He has U-turn on Audino as his sketch move, making a fantastic pivot, being able to eat hits, just Regenerator out, and pass along big wishes as well. Gets a pretty solid move pool with stuff like Dazzling Gleam, Knockoff, the elemental moves. So probably just expecting a bulky Audino this week. Wish, U-turn, maybe Dazzling Gleam for Hydreigon, and then one other move just to fill the slot. Next up is Basculin, a fast water type with the adaptability ability. Pretty good flip turn pivot. Those hit pretty hard coming off adaptability, and something like Choice Band doesn't get the greatest move pool in the world, but it really only needs water moves. So I could maybe see Basculin coming this week, maybe just like a Choice Band set, something like Adaptability, Aqua Jet, and Flip Turn to pressure some of my faster stuff, or a Choice Scarf set. But I think Slowbro of the two water types is probably a little bit better because Future Sight pressures a couple of things on my team pretty hard. So, but I definitely could still see Basculin coming. And then last but not least is Cryogonal, a pretty bulky ice type with the Levitate ability, big special defense at 135, and pretty fast at base 105 speed. It's got a limited move pool with stuff like Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, and Frost Breath. It also gets Flash Cannon as well. It's a pretty good removal option as it does get both Rapid Spin and Defog, so we can defog away any terrain I want to set. So I could see Cryogonal maybe as his Tapu Koko switch in, even on electric terrain since it is off the ground with Levitate. It wouldn't be taking nearly as much from a Rising Voltage. He can recover that off. He can defog my terrain away. But I still think that Tapu Bulu is a little bit better just because he can pressure me pretty hard. I can't really touch him with anything unless I was running like Brave Bird. So I could see Cryogonal, but I think he's just got better monster full of slots. So with all that out of the way, let's hop into what I'm bringing this match. Leading us off again, we're rocking Marigold to Tapu Koko with another Choice Spec set this week and the Electric Surge ability, Rising Voltage, Dazzling Gleam, Grass Knot, and U-turn, Max Special Attack Modest with enough speed to outspeed fully invested Gengar if he's not Choice Scarfed, and then the rest are just thrown into a little bit of bulk. He doesn't have good answers for these moves. His best switch-ins to Rising Voltage are either Bulu, Mudsdale, or that Cryogonal, but after a little bit of chip, they don't really want to take repeated moves. Dazzling Gleam hits Bulu pretty hard, especially if he's an offensive set. And Grass Knot hits that Mudsdale. Obviously, U-turn is for pivoting around, so I don't have to predict on a Volt Switch or something of the sort. As this is a pretty good early game pivot, as it's outspeeding a bunch of stuff. I don't have speed for Alolan Persian, so if he's fully invested with something like Gunk Shot, I'll have to keep that in mind. But I wanted to be able to run Modest just for extra damage, as this is a pretty solid breaking option this week. He doesn't have a whole lot of stuff that wants to take this on repeatedly, so I'm really liking Marigold this match. I want to try to get it in a lot. I didn't have that opportunity last match, and I think that caused me a little bit. So I'm really liking his matchup this week. I just got to get my Grass Knot predictions right. Definitely could see something like a Shukaberry Mudsdale as well, so I have to keep that in mind so I don't lose Marigold to a surprise Earthquake or something of the sort. Next up, we're bringing Psychosphere the Mega Scizor with a fully physically defensive set again this week with the Scissorite and Technician ability. Bullet Punch, U-turn, Defog, and Roost. Fully physically defensive, as I said. I kind of have to run Psychosphere this week. This is one of my better switch-ins to Mega Lopunny if he doesn't have Fire Punch. I can pressure it pretty hard with Bullet Punch and I can Roost stuff off. If he's got if he gets up to +2 even without Fire Punch, CC will do a bunch. But I have to bring this for Bulu. Bulu can't really touch this guy. He could be running some weird set, but Bullet Punch pressures it pretty hard, and he can't Grassy Glide. That would do pretty much nothing. A +2 close combat might do a decent chunk, or like a banded close combat, but I can U-turn out pressure pretty hard with Bullet Punch. I can defog away any grassy terrain so he can't, just start doing stuff in the late game. And then just Roost for longevity. This can also handle a couple other things on his team. Mudsdale, Mudsdale might get Heat Crash. I have to double check that. And then, Audino, he might be running Flamethrower, but otherwise I can just U-turn around on that thing. I'm not running Bone Meringue because I think just because Heatran is there, I think he'll expect me to have Bone Meringue and he'll just play a little bit more cautiously, and I like having the option to defog hazards away. If he sets up Spikes with Persian or like Stealth Rock with Heatran, I like that option. I didn't really want to run defog or anything else this week, so. Next up, rocking Omega the Hydreigon again with a Dragon Fang set this week with the Levitate ability, Clanging Scales, Earth Power, Flamethrower, and Scale Shot. Max special attack, max speed with the hasty nature. Clanging Scales is a really spammable move in this match against him. He doesn't have good responses to it except for Bulu and Heatran, Earth Power, and Flamethrower hit those respectively. If he's a bulky Audino, then that'll do a lot, and he could totally have D-Gleam, which I'll have to be careful. But if I get a +1 up with Scale Shot, he's looking really, really good in the late game. Mega Lopunny obviously could fake me out. Clanging Scales does lower my defense, so I'll have to keep that in mind. But Psychosphere is a fairly reliable switch into to fake out. But I'm really liking this set. I hope it does some cool work. Omega put in some pretty good work with the setup set last week, and I want to try to keep that train rolling. I think he'll expect just like a nasty plot offensive set, but I don't really love that option just because he can revenge me pretty easily with Mega Lopunny later. So he could also be expecting a Choice Scarf set. Choice Scarf has some merit, but I think I have a better Choice Scarf option on my team, which you'll see later. Next up, we are rocking Priestess, the Toxic Pex again, with a specially defensive set with the Black Sludge and Regenerator ability. Scald, Recover, Teleport, and Toxic Spikes. 248 in HP, 200 in special defense. This lets me have a guaranteed 4-shot on Earth Power from uninvested Heatran, and then the rest just thrown into physical bulk to let me take on moves from Mega Lopunny. Scald is pretty spammable in this match. He doesn't have a lot of stuff that wants to take Scalds. Recover is there for just longevity. Teleport out is just really good for something like Mega Lopunny. If he fakes me out, I can teleport out on the U-turn. I can teleport out of like being trapped from like Magma Storm or something of the sort from Heatran. That's pretty solid. And then Toxic Spikes are pretty good in this match. It lets me get some residual chip on things like Bulu and Mudsdale and Mega Lopunny. If Gengar does come, which I probably expect it to, he'd be able to get rid of those. But you know, I'm not going to set him up with Gengar sitting right there. But otherwise, I'm really liking Priestess this week. I just needed to keep some of those mons in check, like Heatran and Mega Lopunny and Gengar to some extent. If he does have Psychic, if he's like Choice Specs, Psychic will do a whole lot. Or if he's like +2, especially with Life Orb, I'm kind of just dead. But Scald does like a quarter, and if he doesn't have that, I can just start spamming it and hopefully just try to chip him down. Next up, making his debut, we got Alpha the Archeops, running a Choice Scar set this week with the Defeatist ability. Stone Edge, Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, and U-turn. Max attacks, max speed to Speed Tide Choice Scarf Gengar. He doesn't have good switch-ins for Dual Stab plus Earthquake this week. Stone Edge does a whole lot to a number of things on his team, namely that Zapdos. I gotta break Zapdos down to let Psychosphere be able to do some things, so that's a key for this match. Dual Wing Beat revenges Mega Lopunny pretty easily. It also does a whole lot to stuff like Gengar and Tapu Bulu, and then EQ is obviously there for Heatran. If Terrain is up, obviously I have to be careful. I can't just EQ into to Heatran because he'll be able to kill me with a Flash Cannon. Earthquake won't do a lot. I'm running Earthquake over Earth Power. I'd have to invest in Earth Power and Special Attack to make Earth Power worth it, and I just like having the attack investment for just spamming Stone Edges because this does a whole lot against his team. I got to make sure I cleared Stealth Rocks off the field because I'm not running Boots, I'm running Scarf, so I don't want to trigger Defeatist, and I'm not running Wish this week. So I definitely want to keep Alpha healthy. It's a really good cleaning option in the late game. Obviously, you have to be careful of Grassy Glide on Bulu, but I have a couple different answers that can come in against that, or I can try to reset the terrain by defogging it away or just switching in Marigold and getting rid of that. And last but certainly not least, coming back, we got Zigglorox the Electric, running a defensive EV Light set this week with the Levitate ability, Discharge, Giga Drain, Acid Spray, and U-turn. 248 in HP, 180 in defense with the Bold Nature, and then 80 in special defense. This special defense investment lets me not get 4-shot by Slowbro spamming Scald, so Discharge will do a whole lot to that. Giga Drain is there for the Mudsdale. He can't touch me with an Earthquake, obviously. Acid Spray is there for Tapu Bulu. That'll do a whole lot to that. I'm hoping he doesn't expect that. Maybe he tries to switch in and start setting up. But Acid Spray will do a whole lot to that, even with my uninvested nature. It also is just good for, you know, whacking the special defense and some other stuff, like Zapdos if it wants to stay in Slowbro. I can Acid Spray that down, and then Discharge will do a lot. And then U-turn is just for a pivoting option to pivot around the team and get into some other threats like Alpha and Marigold. So this is my primary response to Zapdos. He can't touch me with Dual Stab. If he starts setting up Calm Minds, that'd be pretty bad, but I can U-turn to Alpha, hopefully try to hit a Stone Edge and not lose the game from that point. But, you know, Calm Minds Zapdos is a major threat, and this is one of my better responses to it. So that is the team we are rocking with this week. This is going to be a really tough match. Zoog is a tremendous battler, and his team is incredibly strong. So I'm going to give it my best shot, but with all that out of the way, let's hop into the match. Alrighty, guys, we are about to hop into this Week 3 match against Zoog and the San Diego Growlithes. You can see the 6 I expect him to bring up on the screen. Mega Lopunny, Heatran, Tapu Bulu, Zapdos, Gengar, and that odd no. I can absolutely see Slowbro or Mudsdale in there, especially over that Heatran. But you've seen the 6 I am bringing and why I am bringing them. If you haven't, go check out the Teambuilder. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Alright, we do see Cryogonal. No Bulu is wild. Cryogonal is definitely his Coco answer. And we do see Slowbro and Mudsdale as well. No Gengar is absolutely wild. I'm totally cool to see that. But we don't see Bulu. And we don't see Heatran. Definitely not shocked to see that Cryogonal. It can do a number of different things. But we do see Mudsdale and we do see Slowbro. But Ziggy's looking really solid to do some shenanigans. I gotta keep that odd no in line. I probably should have brought Taunt on something, because I don't want to let that odd no be annoying. But for a lead perspective, he could absolutely lead Lopunny to pivot or just thrash me. He could lead Zapper to do some stuff. He could lead Mudsdale to set rocks. But I gotta play around that Cryogonal. But a U-turn going into Cryogonal probably will still tickle, because that thing's Phys Def is atrocious. So I kind of like leading. I brought the wrong team. I could just lead Alpha and U-turn. I like doing that. He could lead Zapdos, but I can go into Ziggy fairly easily. If I were to bet, he probably either leads Zapdos or Lopunny. Omega matches up. Man, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to lead. I can lead Marigold and just U-turn. That's also not the worst idea. But he could like fake out with Lopunny, and I don't necessarily want to take chip on something. I'm gonna lead Alpha. Like fake, like maybe he's gonna lead Odd now. Alright, I am just going to U-turn out here. He can go into Zapdos on the U-turn and try to paralyze me, which would be atrocious, but he can also just go into Mudsdale. Mudsdale should be able to take any hit from this thing. Alright, I'm just gonna U-turn. Calc that investment. He's probably just gonna toss off a Wish if I were to bet. U-turn doing 22. Alright, that looks to be a min roll on uninvested. So I'm going to go into Priestess and try to get my Toxic Spikes up because he's just going to knock off my Black Fudge. That's not the end of the world. I'm going to get some Toxic Spikes up because I don't see Slowbro. This will force him to defog with something later, and any residual chip I can get on Slowbro, Mudsdale, and Audino later will be like banging. So if I were to bet, he just goes into Zapdos here. He can just straight defog either way. He's just going to go straight into Slowbro. That's fine. I'm going to go into Ziggy and U-turn. I can also go into Omega and try to pressure. But I like just going into Ziggy. He shouldn't be able to do too much to me. He's going to toss off a Future Sight. And if I were to bet, you're just going to go into Zapdos, but I'm just going to U-turn. If you stay in and go for Scald, then okay. Audino just comes out. He's Boots Audino. And I'm going to go into Marigold. I can also go back into Alpha and click Stone Edge. For Stone Edge, that just doesn't even do a lot. But this thing definitely has Dazzling Gleam, and I don't want Omega to take a D-Gleam. So I'm just gonna go into Marigold. How does Future Sight work? Future Sight will hit me next turn. So I'm just gonna go and click U-turn. If he stays in, I'm gonna go into Psychosphere because I think he'll go for D-Gleam. But I don't want to take the Future Set on anything. Please just go into Cryogonal. Yeah. I'm gonna go into. I can also go into Psycho to take the Future Sight. That's also not the end. That's not the worst situation. I'm gonna do that. All right. And I'm just gonna click U-turn again. Zapdos is going to come out here, but this is going to get me back into Archeops, and then that time I'm going to click Stone Edge. Because I got to start doing something. He's Pressure, not Static. Super awesome. I could also go into Omega and click Clanging Scales, which is not I don't hate that option either. Or I can go into Alpha. Alright, M-Scizor did 16. That was min roll on max HP, or he's got just a little bit of defense, but not a lot. Which means that Alpha probably dents you with a Stone Edge. Oh yeah, that kills. He can go into Mudsdale though. I want to see how much Omega's going to do. Not enough. I'm just going to go into Alpha and click Stone Edge. If he goes into Mudsdale, that's pretty okay. He's leftovers. This thing is probably a Calm Mindset then. He could be a sub-pressure Calm Mindset. I'm going to go for Stone Edge. He's just going to go into Odd. No, this is going to tickle. That's a lot. I'm going to click it again. He's probably just going to Wish. But this will chunk. And that's going to force him to reveal Protect. He could also just go into Mudsdale here. 48, damn. He's going to knock off my Choice Scarf. That's fine. And now he's going to go into Mudsdale. And I'm going to... I was just going to go into Slowbro. Think. Ace Helmet. Well, I have very little time in which I can use... Alpha's essentially dead. I don't have anything that revenges Lopunny now besides Psychosphere, so I'm in a lot of trouble. I gotta get a Scale Shot off with Omega to do that properly. But I can go into Coco. I want to see how much Cryogonal's going to take from a Voltage. It depends on his spread. If he's like Calm, he's at 73. If he's Calm fully invested, it's a very small chance to two-shot. You could also go into Mudsdale. I'm going to go into Omega and click Clanging Scales, I think. I don't know what you go into against me. Because a Dark Pulse is super obvious. But I don't have Dark Pulse. I don't know if he knows that. I'm just going to click the move and see what happens. He could go into Oddno. Oddno might be able to take 2. Or he'll just be able to get another regen out. Alright, he just goes into Cryogonal. 43. That did a lot. If you're faster, you can recover. Clanging Scale is doing 43. I don't know how much speed you have. Realistically, I don't think you're going to be able to do a lot to me. I'm going to click Scale Shot this time. If he stays in and goes for Recover, then okay, but otherwise, this might put me in a decent spot to do some shenanigans. But if you're slower, you die. So it goes into Zapdos. Alright, see how much Scale Shot does. Got a bunch? I got all 5, which is rad as hell. Zapdos. I don't know. You might be like max HP, max speed. But Clanging Scales is going to kill, it looks like, so I'm going to click it. Nice. Let it be, Omega. Nice job, buddy. Alright, well, Lope is going to come out here and click Fake Out because he's got to have it. I could force him to reveal that he doesn't have Fake Out and stay in and click Clanging Scales, which would be baller. Clanging Scales definitely doesn't kill, and I don't want to risk. Because I need this Clanging Scales option for later in the game. To beat that Lopunny. I mean, realistically, after a Clanging Scales to that Lopunny, M-Scizor picks it off with Bullet Punch. But Omega doing some fantastic work. Again. Hydreigon being a beast. Yeah, Lope's going to come out here. My safe play is to go into Priestess. I don't think you have Fake Out. I really don't. I think you have Swords Dance 3 attacks. But do I want to force you to reveal that you don't? Because I'm at, what, -3 defense? If Fake Out would do 75, because then Psycho can just come out, though. I'm going to stay in and click Scales. I don't think you have Fake Out. I was right. I'm going to die to whatever this is, CC. But, yeah. So he's pretty near dead. I can go into Psycho and click BP. Or I can go into Priestess and Teleport. He can switch out, but he's on 1 thing of poison left. So I'm going to go into Priestess and do that. He can either U-turn and preserve himself or die to poison. Yeah, he's just going to go into Cryo. And I get to go into Scizor and click U-turn. Slowbro's going to come out. Oh, I crit him. I'm sorry, buddy. That's sad. And I'm going to go into Mary and click. I can also go into Ziggy. Or I can go into Alpha and click U-turn. Because if he were to stay in, he'd probably die. But that would put me in Defeatist. Yeah, U-turn would kill after poison. So I'm going to do that. Ziggy's my least useful Alpha's my least useful member. So I can just safely U-turn here. Yeah, that crit was a bummer. I'm sorry, Zoog. Not a fan of that myself. Alright, well, Alpha's useless now, but this guy's out of the way. And now Psycho gets to come out again. And Psychosphere is in a pretty good position to put in some work late game. I gotta make sure. I have no idea if Mudsdale gets Heat Crash. I gotta make sure it doesn't. Alright, you do not get Heat Crash. You could start like Iron Defensing, that'd be bad, but I got Ziggy. I'm gonna Roost and try to get some health back. I don't think you can touch me. If I'm wrong, then oopsies. He's just gonna set rocks. I don't want those up. I'm gonna defog. And Toxic is Poison's just gonna wear this thing down a little bit, which is super cool. Just EQ. That is nothing. I'm gonna U-turn, go into Ziggy. I can click Giga Drain or Acid Spray. He's gonna go into this guy. So I just get to go into Mary and click U-turn, I think. I am going to go back over this and see how many times I click U-turn this battle. Mary's going to pick up the kill against that guy. Psycho's going to come back out. Mudsdale's going to come in here. No, I'm just going to U-turn into Ziggy. And I can click Giga Drain or I can U-turn. I just can't let him wish into Scoot. So, click U-turn here. I go back into Psycho. I just can't let Odd No come in for free. Oh, he's got Body Press. Crap, I forgot about that. I'm gonna click Roost. Odd No's gonna come out. This is his opportunity to try to wish into Lopunny. I screwed up. I got a U-turn into Mary, I think. Let's see, he's gonna wish. Let's go into Mary and see what happens. Oh, he's gonna heal Bell. Okay. I'm just gonna click U-turn. And then, now this is the exact opposite of riveting gameplay. I am sorry, but I will say, this is pretty much what I wanted this team to do when we drafted. It was just pivot around and be annoying. Hex might be able to pick up the kill, because I know that Psychosphere can. I'm gonna go into Ziggy. I'm gonna click Acid Spray. Click Body Press. I live it. And now I'm gonna click Giga Drain. That'll kill. Now he's gonna go into Odd No and he's gonna try to pivot into Scoot. So I'm gonna U-turn out. Well, I am beyond happy, I will say. This gameplay has been very boring. I'm sorry, Zoog. But I am absolutely ecstatic that Zigglorox the Electric was able to pick up a kill. He's gonna CC. Wow, Ziggy took it. Is Ziggy gonna get another one? Ziggy's getting another one. Let's go. Zigglorox the Electric popping off 2 kills. 2 kills. Well, I gotta go into Psycho and then U-turn into Merrick. My turn is about to run out, unfortunately, so I gotta draw this out a little bit more, as stupid as that is, because I gotta make sure I can kill this goddamn Odd No. Yeah, so let's just click U-turn. I'm gonna click Voltage. Marigold's gonna pick up the last kill. GG's, that's what I call a riveting win. It really wasn't a riveting win. GG's to Zoog. I know that wasn't super fun, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But thank you guys so much for watching this battle. If you are enjoying the OMDL so far, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. We've got a whole bunch of Pokemon content happening. We should have the draft of one of my favorite draft leagues, the Pokemon Championship Circuit, happening pretty soon, and that'll be an excellent league for you guys to watch. So thank you. GG's to Zoog again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.